David Laflamme, ladies and gentlemen.
He's an animal. He's an animal.
He is an animal.
Thank you very much. Moving right along here, now we're going to play a little medley of some numbers from my very first record album, something called something that people refer to. Did you ever hear of It's a Beautiful Day? And they say who? The record or the group? See? He knows more than most people. Most people think It's a Beautiful Day was a record. And then if you ever have that album, the picture that's inside doesn't show any group. It just shows this foggy picture, which was, I can't claim any responsibility for the inner part because I didn't do that part. I did the front and the back, the bird and the girl. And then somebody else put that inside part in there. I had a picture in there originally that was 6 heads, I mean just faces in there. That was really nice, but somebody thought that cloudy thing in there was... So nobody ever knew who was in the group, you know what I mean? Because all you see is the shadows and people in the fog and everything. Anyway, perhaps it's for the best, you know what I mean? I really don't care to have my picture plastered all over the place anyway. But here we go. This starts out with a song of mine called Bombay Calling. Which I wrote about 10 minutes after a friend of mine showed up at my apartment. He had just gotten off the bus from Afghanistan. And I'm speaking of Volkswagen bus, of course, and one of those old Volkswagen buses. So he just gotten off the bus from Afghanistan, and he had this nice, well, you know what, those Russians have it all now, you know. And of course, everybody knows that's the real reason they went into Afghanistan. Either that, or they're horny for those llamas they have over there. That would be, or both, you know. I don't know. But it's kind of hard now. They have to ship it out with those expensive carpets, and none of us can afford those expensive carpets, so we don't see much of that stuff. Anyway, he came by, and we smoked a little bowlful, and immediately I wrote this song called Bombay Calling. I would have called it Afghanistan Calling or Kabul Calling, but it just didn't sound very musical, so I cheated a little bit and moved it over a country, you know. I hope you'll forgive me on that one. Then it goes into a song called The Girl With No Eyes, which is obviously another drug-related song, you know what I mean? People ask me, what does it mean? How can I tell you what it means? You know, I have no idea. It was a poor man's title for a girl of my dreams. I guess that's another title for it. And then it goes into another favorite of mine, The Guy With No Nose. Later on, I sold that one to Frank Zappa. And he did a whole album around the idea, you know, with one of the most hideous videos you've ever seen. It was grotesque, you know. Pictures of people's faces melting right off of them. Really, really bad. And then it goes into a song of mine, kind of a bluesish number called Hot Summer's Day, which we haven't seen too many of those lately, as you well know. It's been tough on us because we've been following winter around wherever it goes. If there's any winter left anywhere, we're playing there next week, I assure you. We have been doing that. And I've been going on my 5th cold this winter now. This is my first year of trying to work, I guess what you call winter ski resort circuit. We worked a lot of ski resorts. Had a great time skiing. Had a new cold every 2 weeks, you know. And anyway, then it goes into a song of mine called White Bird, which has been, you know, keeping my savings account going for a number of years. And That's about all I can say about that. And then, of course, it goes into a song of mine I'm sure all of you are familiar with, the 1812 Overture, which I wrote part of that with Tchaikovsky. So I'm sorry we couldn't have the cannons here tonight. The Grateful Dead wouldn't loan them to me. I grew up, of course, in the same neighborhood, on the same block. I had Janis Joplin living on one side of me and Jerry Garcia on the other. And as you can see, they had no influence on me whatsoever. But we used to have a lot of fun. I used to go and listen to Jerry Garcia practice the C major scale for 4 or 5 hours. Then he'd switch to D major and practice that for another 5 hours. After that, he'd be so tired and stoned, he'd just say, "Oh, fuck practicing." Anyway. Of course, if you went over to Janis's place, you had to drink and then, of course, ball her. So you wanted to be careful about going over there. Jerry went over there every day, of course. He and the rest of the band. She was a very open person, very, truly two of the most favorite people I've ever known would be her and a guy that for years was her steady beau, Pigpen. A lot of people don't know that. Those two for years in San Francisco were seen everywhere together, if you can imagine. What a couple, huh? And fittingly, they both drank themselves to death, you know what I mean? Where were we? Oh, we were going to play Bombay Calling, that was it. I get going here. I use Bob Hope's riders, you know what I mean? That's why I'm just about as funny as he is. He was funny once, 35 years ago. And he's still living off that one joke, I think. Ready, Bob? You don't need to. Reagan will do plenty of that, I'm sure. Ready? 1, 2.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Very kind, very kind. A lot of old, crazy old songs, huh? We're going to do a new song for you here. Nice, pretty song, brand new song. We're going to do a couple of brand new songs for you tonight, just to, offset some of this old stuff. Oh, no, we won't forget White Bird, of course not. We'll play that a little bit later. How can I forget White Bird? I get a royalty check every 3 months. Has it written right on there, White Bird, money. That's right. So I'm very grateful, quite frankly. I mean, it's my skeleton in the closet, and I take it out whenever I need some money, right? Halloween, one of those things that flies around and haunts you the rest of your life, in a good way. Fortunately, the White Bird song has flown all over the world, so that's where the checks come from. Behind the Iron Curtain and all those funny places, deep in the heart of Africa and all that. So I'm very grateful. We'll play that for you in a few minutes. Here's a brand new song for you called, what's it called? So I forgot the title. It's brand new. Let's hope I remember the lyrics. I hope you're not like the rest of me. Last year I started going through what I call mental pause. You know what I'm talking about, right? Why is it in my life I've always been great on all the little stuff? It's just the big stuff I screw up. But I'm so good on the little stuff. Doesn't it count for anything? No, it doesn't. I always remember to put gas in the car. I just forget to make the payment. Stuff like that, you know what I mean? Never ran out of gas. Had 4 or 5 repossessed. Never ran out of gas.
Yes?
Well, you're a very nice man. My mom loves me too. At least she said that. I don't believe her. Here we go. Moms have to say that, you know. I love you, son. Then they think, boy, I never could stand that kid. Him and that damn violin of his. Imagine my father was a miner, so he used to come home from the mine. Well, you know what a miner looks like when they come home from the mine, you know, with their lunchbox and filthy dirty, right? I used to say things like to him, don't come near me, you filthy man. I'm practicing my violin. Imagine how popular I was around there, you know. His two favorite things, only two things in the world he loved. Fishing, my mother, three things. Fishing, my mother, and wrestling. He loved wrestling.
The dog. You like the dog, too, right?
So I'd practice and he'd watch wrestling, you know. What a world.
Wrestling your mother.
Yeah. Ready? One, two, 3. Playing with us tonight as, again, a man that is, we've played together off and on for over 30 years, Mr. Val Fuente.
Yeah!
On drums.
Are we lucky?
You know, I thought about a lot of this, and I won't take a lot of time, although we do have a lot of time, so we're in no hurry here tonight unless we are. I don't think we are, and I won't go on and on like this. But I've thought a lot about it, and I've thought about what success really means to me. This is the truth now, and I'll tell you what it is. I know you've never heard this. Success, I thought about it, and I thought to myself, what makes me feel really successful is to, after 30-something years, to be able to get up here tonight and play with people like Val and Toby and some of these other people. That, to me, makes me feel very successful, no matter what else happened. So, and of course my lovely wife, Linda, of the last 27 years. Now let's get on to the next story. When I told you my father was a miner, I was lying.
Oh, no.
I made all that up.
Oh, you liar.
My father was actually a filthy lumberjack. When he came home from jacking that lumber all day, he was a filthy mess. And he used to come in and I used to say, "Get away from me, you filthy lumberjack." So later on, I wrote a little song for him just so he'd forgive me, called Soapstone Mountain, about his lumberjacking days. We're going to do a little bit of bumping and grinding music here now, a little slow bumping and grinding music. So let's see some. Yeah.
I want to see some sleaze out there.
Wasn't that long ago. By now, people would have half their clothes off. I used to do these gigs at the Glide Memorial Church. By the time we got through, the only people that had clothes on was the band. It was amazing. Okay. I love that time. I loved it. I hate clothes. I've always hated clothes.
Take it off.
Here we go. I'd take mine off now, but everything would just fall out, you know.
Gravity is taking over, darling.
That's why some guy when we were playing up at the Fillmore a couple of years ago, I said, "Are you guys on tour?" I said, "Yeah, sure, we're on the Suck It In tour." Suck it in, you guys. Suck it in. All right, here we go with Suck It In, Mama. It's called Working the Gold Mine because
up at the Gold Mine Winery in
we recorded
Sonora.
We recorded the thing with my dad down in this filthy gold mine.
Again. God.
Digger Laflamme.
But it sounds really good, even though there was a lot of filthy miners around watching us do it. So anyway, here's an old song of mine that I wrote back in, I don't know, 67 maybe. And I never recorded it. I didn't even play it for years because I thought it really stunk, you know. Not one of my better compositions, I thought. And then recently I listened to it again and I thought, you know how time goes by, you know. You say, gee, that wasn't that bad. Maybe we'll play it. And now I'm enjoying playing it. Isn't that amazing? It starts on B, yes. Thank you very much, because I needed that. It starts on G. See, when your hearing is poor as mine is, you can't tell a B from a D to a G to a... Doesn't even matter, because I never play the right notes, seldom anyway.
Yeah, you wrote the song, can't play the
I've always surrounded myself with musicians who can really play. That way, I knew at least they could carry it, you know what I mean. Okay, now what's my starting note?
B concert.
B. What does a B sound like? What is
B.
Is that close? Oh, thank
Oh,
God.
it's okay. You thought it was going, didn't you?
Boy, I don't know how I get involved in these things. Okay.
We have a reference CD back there.
That's right.
I know, I ought to listen to that thing once in a while, you know? I really should. I could learn my own songs finally. Here we go with a song called Pick Up Sticks. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Thank you very much, folks. Thank you. I wish I had time to play all the songs I'd ever written for you, but we'd be here a long time. Years ago, I used to write, as a part of a discipline, I used to write a song every day and finish it. And my whole theory was, I knew I wasn't that good, so my whole theory was, if I wrote 365 songs a year, 1 or 2 of them might be good. So I would, and some of them were just terrible, but I finished them anyway. You know, but I don't do that anymore, but it's just too makes you crazy, you know. Anyway, you know, people say to me, don't you ever get tired of playing that Whitebird song? And I said, well, you know, sometimes it does get a little tiresome, but I'm very lucky, I'm very blessed. I could have written Inagata Devita. Little did I realize that Iron Butterfly was sitting in the audience that night. So now they're not speaking to me either. So people said to me, well, gee, that was such a wonderful song you wrote. Why don't you write another bird song? So that bird song, Well, let's see, my grandmother's favorite song was Yellow Bird. She loved that song. And let's see, there was Blackbird, that's gone. Bluebird, no, that's gone. I couldn't think of any birds like that. So I was down doing a gig down in Florida. I saw some beautiful birds down there, and I thought, I'm going to write a song about these birds, those birds. Which is right? Those are these. Anyway, them birds. Them, I like that. I wrote a song about them birds. Then I changed my name to D Flame. D Flame. David D Flame. So this is just a nice, slow, little relaxing tune. You sit back, close your eyes, pretend like you were down in Florida with me. What can I say? Go to that little town, Des Moines, Iowa, and get big. That's it. You're gorgeous. You're just gorgeous, you people. This is, you know, you realize I can't have more fun than this with my clothes on. That's it, right? We got one more number here we're going to play. We're going to play for you.
Conference.
I wanted to mention just one time before the evening is over here that we're going to be playing at City Market in Kansas City on July the 4th. And from what I understand, the fireworks people called me This is outside now, down by the river. And the fireworks people called me all excited because they have a giant fireworks that goes way up in the sky and turns into a giant white bird. So if you can imagine, they called me all excited and they asked me, they said, do you think it would be possible you could be playing that song when we sent that thing up there? I said, are you kidding? Is there room for one more? You know, I just won't come back, you know, I mean, just shh. There he goes. Damn, I never seen anything like that. He's gone.
Just like that.
Yeah, just, boy, I'd like to. I really would. Anyway, but I don't know. Now I've got all those grandchildren and everything. You know, you have to stick around, you know, just to be a grandpa. And believe me, you coming out tonight, supporting the band. Isn't this band fantastic, these guys here? Aren't they just...
Thank you.
Linda and I feel so lucky, so blessed just to know these wonderful people. And, you know, we get together and we work on some songs and stuff, and it's just fun every time. We laugh and we work hard and we play and we just have so much fun together, and that's really what it's all about, you know. I mean, this
is David. This is actually the most fun we have with your clothes on too.
That's
yeah.
Now we're going to try a little experiment tonight because this is a new piece, and these fellas, this is going to be the first time we've ever played it in public.
Oh, good.
So. Oh, good.
We're, you know, I'm more nervous than they are. They probably worked on it a lot harder than I did, but this is one you have to count your measures on this one, or you know what I mean. If you don't, you know, you can't fake this one. This is one of those things, you know. So it's a little piece of mine called "Swept Away."
Yeah.
Thank you so much, folks. Boy, they just don't write them like that anymore, do they? Oh, boy. Somebody asked me, gee, how did you write something like that? I said, it's real simple. I had no idea what I was doing. And a lot of these songs are that way. I just sort of dreamed them up, I guess you'd say. I never tried to figure them too much. I remember seeing an interview with Paul McCartney recently where he was speaking about a song that, you know, you get interviewed by people and they want to know how you wrote this song and how you wrote that song and so on and so on. Because it is kind of interesting where these inspirations come from. But he was talking about one of the songs that he wrote that was his favorite. Because composition, he said, was the only song. He woke up in the middle of the night and he dreamt the entire song. It was Yesterday, it was the song. And wasn't his favorite, by the way, but he had dreamt the entire song. And he got up and he said, and I sat right up in bed, and I turned to the piano, and, you know, and then I think it was Charlie Rose looked at him like in astonishment. He turned in bed and he says, well, of course, everybody has a piano right by their bed, I assume, you know. I mean, he said, so I rose up, I turned to the piano, he said, and I immediately just heard the whole song, and I finished the song and I went back to sleep again, wondering whether when I woke up in the morning I'd still remember it, of course. Fortunately for us, he did. But these things sort of come like that. Yeah, right. Anyway, this next song is not one that I dreamt up. This is a song that I wrote for my father. And when I was a young man, about 8 years old to be exact, between my 7th and 8th birthday, and this is the way I cue the band to the next song we're doing, of course, because they have no idea. I do this, I wing every show. I always have. I always write set lists, and then it's like a speech, and then I crumple it up and throw it away and say, I don't need that thing. I'm just going to wing it. You know. I have attention deficit or whatever it is. Just looking at the set list, I'm screwing it up already, you know. Or changing my mind, or why did I make it like this? Anyway, I lived with my father, and he was lumberjacking at the time. And the men would go out in the morning in the old days with the saws and not chainsaws, I'm talking hand saws, and axes and so on. They'd go off in the woods, and you'd hear them sawing and whacking in there all day on those trees, you know. And I lived an idyllic life with my sister and my two parents in this little cabin up on top of a mountain. And so one day the game warden showed up. And he said he had heard that there was some serious poaching going on up there on these mountains, and some deer had been taken. And my father stood there on the porch and said, "No, sir. No way. Not in this house." At that point, my dog Skipper, with his tail wagging like this, the biggest smile you ever saw on a dog's face, came dragging that deer hide up and dropped it at my father's feet, right there. So proud. He had found that thing and dug it up and drug it over there. The game warden looked at him, got the cuffs out, boom. The end of our little idyllic life. My father got 3 months in jail for poaching. We had to go live with my grandparents. Anyway, I thought it would be fun to write a song about, and I would sing it to him. And fortunately, before he was killed in an auto crash in 1973, he had a chance to come by one of my performances and hear us do it. And so that was the only time. Now you're going to get it. I'm going to play something a little different here. This is a little piece, I grew up playing classical music, and I still play a lot of semi-classical music. I play out in Los Angeles. I play in a little orchestra. It's about 12 pieces, 8 violinists, a couple of violists, a cellist, pianist, bass player, guitarist. We play a lot of light classical, a lot of swing music, your jazzed up classics and that kind of thing. It's very nice. We play over at like Aaron Spelling's house, places like Rupert Murdoch, all these billionaires, And sometimes it'll just be, we'll be playing all evening, and there'll just be two couples having dinner. It's the truth. And we'll be like over there. And then from time to time, little papers will come over with requests on, They want to hear the Strauss waltzes, or they want to hear this or that. And let me tell you, play for a couple hours, and they give you about $400, and you're out the door. So it's a nice little supplemental living, You get to play a lot of good music. This is kind of in that mode, a little classically oriented piece that I wrote some years ago with Linda called "A Girl with No Eyes." You remember this one?
Is that Peter Alpha?
That's our,
Oh my
my buddy Peter.
Wow.
One of the very first one of the very first jam sessions I ever went to was over at 1090 Page, over at Peter's basement over there. I met a lot of wonderful musicians, he and his brother. Later on, Peter's brother made a wonderful violin for me with 5 strings. Wow. It was the first 5-string one I ever had. He made it himself, and it looked a lot like this one here. This is the latest thing you can buy right here. And it looked very much like it. It was about the same weight, maybe a little bit heavier, but it's very similar to it. And recently I donated that violin, along with a picture of Rodney Alban, to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
All right.
So I have a real soft spot in my heart for Peter and Rodney and all those friends that I've loved and known for so many years. Thank you, damn it, I wish I could take you all home with me, I'll tell you. But you wouldn't want to go back to that cesspool that Linda and I live in Los Angeles. No, I don't blame you. We do the best we can down there. It's a lonely place. It really is. We have no family down there. We have a few dear friends. The rest of the time it's pretty much just me and my buddy Linda, hanging out together, doing everything together. We're together practically 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Did I say that? And in all these years we've been together, we've never had more than one bathroom. That's right. It must be love, right? We live in a little tiny 2-room apartment down in Sherman Oaks. And I don't really, or as a good friend of mine said to me, my best friend when we got out of college, he said to me, David, always remember this when we're going our own ways. His name was David too. He's a musician. He was an opera singer. He said, always remember this, David. Without your violin, you're nothing. And I never forgot that. So I've always kept one right near me, and he's right, because quite frankly, I can't do much of anything else too well, you know what I mean? So I just keep that violin nearby me just in case, I pretty much fiddled my way in and out of most problems, but I've gotten myself in a little trouble fiddling over the years too, fooling around they call it.
That is the end, my friends.
Thank you.
God bless. Thank you for coming by.
Great audience. Thank you very much.
Been a wonderful audience tonight. Don't think we don't appreciate it. God bless. Thank you and good night.